and to gift blessing of the spoils of his victory over the Amalekites. While a fugitive, he and his men had free access to the city. Once a 26-31 its location is today unknown. Compare 1ch 27. 27. O textoi acute miritra longo, Sistrum 975 Psalm 29. 6 Syrian and Lebanon are mentioned together. For this reason it has been suggested that Syrian perhaps refers to the Ander-Lebanon range. See Herman. Caesarea Sissi Middle.ra. 1. Army chief under Canaanite King Jabin. Caesarea, who lived at Harosheth rather than at Jabin's city Hazor, is more prominent in the account than King Jabin. Sometime after Judge Ehud had overthrown Moabite domination, Caesarea and Jabin came to oppress Israel for 20 years. JG 4. 1-3. 1-12. 9. On hearing that Deborah and Barak had mustered the Israelites to fight against him, Caesarea collected his forces, including his 900 iron-scythed chariots, and confronted Israel at the torrent valley of Kishon. But Jehovah fought against Caesarea and threw his whole army into confusion, resulting in their total defeat. JG 4. 7, 12-16, 23. 5. 20, 21. PS 83. 9. His chariots bogged down. Compare JG 5. 21, and Caesarea fled on foot, coming to the tent of Yael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, who was at peace with Jabin. She invited him inside. Exhausted from the battle and the flight, the weary Caesarea, depending on the safety of Yael's tent, decided to rest. Yael gave Caesarea some milk to drink, and he asked her to stand guard. When he had fallen into a sound sleep, she stealthily went up to him and drove a tent pin through his temples into the earth. When Barak arrived, Yael presented to him the fallen enemy. JG 4. 9, 17-22. 5. 25-27 Caesaria's mother and her household waited in vain for him to return with great spoil. JG 5. 28-30. 2. Forefather of a family of Nethinim that returned to Jerusalem with Zerubbabel in 537 BCE as 2. 1, 2, 43, 53. NE 7. 55 war captives were included among the Nethinim, and while some may have been taken at the time Caesarea No. 1 was defeated and may have become temple servants, there is no reason to conclude that the Nethinim who returned from Babylon were descendants of the Caesarea of Barak's time. Sismai, a descendant of Judah through Jerahmeel and Shishon, son of Eliezer and father of Shalom. 1ch 2. 3-5, 25, 34, 40 Sismai possibly lived during the period of the Judges. Sister. In the scriptures the term is applied to full sisters and to half-sisters, those having the same father but different mothers. GE 34. 1, 27. 1ch 3. 1-9, or the same mother but different fathers, as in the case of the sisters of Jesus. Mount 13. 55, 56. Mr. 6. 3. Some of Adam's sons obviously married their sisters, since all humankind sprang from Adam and Eve. GE 3. 20. 5. For Adam's wife Eve, as bone of his bones and flesh of his flesh, was even more closely related than a sister. GE 2. 22-24 There was no stigma attached to marriage to sisters or half-sisters. The account reports that more than 2,000 years later, Abraham married Sarah his half-sister. GE 20. 2, 12 The Mosaic Law, some 430 years later, however, forbade such unions as incestuous. Law 18. 9, 11. 20. 17 Doubtless, as the human race deteriorated from Adam's original perfection, it became detrimental for closely related persons to marry. Sister in its broader usage included fellow countrywoman of a nation. New 25. 17. 18 nations or cities that had a close relationship or that carried on similar moral practices were likened to sisters. J 3. 7-10. S 16. 46, 48, 49, 55. 23. 32, 33. The Hebrew word for sister oath is translated the other when describing the placing of objects in relationship to corresponding pieces in the tabernacle and in Ezekiel's visions. Acts 26. 3, 5, 6, 17. As 1. 9, 23. 3. 13. In the Christian congregation, Jesus taught that spiritual relationships take priority over fleshly ones. Those women who did his Father's will were sisters held in higher regard than mere fleshly relations. Mount 12. 50. Mr. 3. 34, 35. One willing to sever earthly ties, if necessary, for the sake of the kingdom, will have 100-fold of sisters and other family relations now, plus everlasting life. O textoi acute miritra longo, Sir 3976. Instrument varied from about 20 to 46 centimeters 8 to 18 inches in length, according to extant ancient specimens as well as